I struggle with my mind wandering. If I try to talk about a topic, if I try to teach someone or explain a topic, I feel like I have to give you, if I introduce a new concept or idea or something that you're not familiar with, I feel like I have to backfill you so you can get a better understanding of where I'm coming from. So if I was going to explain to you a joke that I thought was really funny, but maybe it's a joke that has some layers to it. Like you have to already know some of this other stuff to get the joke. It's a really niche joke. I'll sit here and explain all the different aspects of the joke before I explain the joke. And I feel compelled to do this. Like even if my wife is like, no, just tell me the joke, and if I don't get it, I'll tell you. I just can't. I have to tell you, every little detail, and then like, okay, you get it? Okay, here's the joke. And it would ruin the joke. Sometimes it's still funny, but that's just how my mind works. If someone says, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm okay. I didn't sleep a lot last night because my son was, doing gymnastics in bed. And they'd be like, if they ask like, what do you mean by that? Then I feel like I have to now explain, like, well, my son doesn't just sleep. He like kicks and turns and this is and that's, and and the reason he's in our bed is because he won't sleep at night because we think he's going through a sleep regression. And I guess sleep regressions happen when you're like, 3 months old and 9 months old and a year old and a year and a half. And I guess it's common for babies and this. And it's just like I can't just say because of this. I have to keep explaining. And if you don't stop me, if you're just staring at me, I assume it's because you don't understand. So I will just keep giving you details until I feel like either the glossy-eyed look is there, which I'm pretty good at noticing that because I overtalk, or if they stop me, or if I feel like they've lost interest, like if they start doing something else, I'll stop. But it's a real problem. Um, that's just how my brain works. I can't just look at something and take it for what it is. For instance, this is a neckerchief that I wear. It's just the first thing I saw. It's a neckerchief that I wear with my uniform. Whenever I see one of these, I can't help but think, I'm sure there's a history to it, but like what's the history? Why do we make it out of polyester instead of silk? We used to make them out of silk. And wouldn't that be cool to have it out of silk? But would it not look the same? Would it be really like flat, and would it be a tighter wrapped scarf, neckerchief? Like, is silk more expensive? Was there a practical reason behind switching to polyester? Is it just a way to pump out more of them? Was there a government contract that caused polyester to take over because of a certain company? Why do we still use them? Why do we care about heritage with the dress uniform, but everything else we just throw out the window? Like, we went to did blue cami uniforms, and then we just threw them out a couple years later, and like it just keeps going. It doesn't stop, and that is the story of my life. And it's really difficult for people who don't think this way to engage in a conversation with me because they're just on for one heck of a ride. And my wife just gets so annoyed because she doesn't get annoyed, but she just doesn't understand. It just doesn't click with her. She doesn't think this way. It doesn't really resonate with her. Another thing is I struggle with words. I struggle with stuttering, with saying things like and like. I struggle with pauses. And I think it's because in my head I got all this stuff going on. I'm thinking, and my brain works faster than my mouth. So sometimes I have a concept that I'm ready to give out to you, but I haven't figured out how to put it into words, or what words to choose, or in what order to say things. Because sometimes I'm in the middle of a concept, but I forget that you don't have any context. So I have to stop, and then I have to go back. And sometimes I haven't gone back far enough, or sometimes I go back too far. And It's just weird. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. I can't just talk like. I think small talk's kind of annoying. It's okay, if it's one person, here or there. But like, the worst thing is when you go to like a family gathering and everyone's like, "Oh, how's work? How's the house? How's the kids? What do you think about this weather?" And it's not just because one person asks, it's because everyone kind of asks individually. And so I find myself going, they go, "How's work?" And I go, "Well, it's okay." Like I have this like animosity to have the same conversation over and over and over. And a lot of times I'll just steer that conversation in the way that I want it to go, because otherwise I'm just not going to want to talk. I'll just go, "Yeah, it's fine." But I can't do that because then I feel bad, because then I feel like I'm being rude and other people's feelings come first. It's super weird. I can be selfish in some ways, but it seems like in the moment I'm always selfless. Um, and if I am selfish and then I'm told I'm selfish, I feel really bad about it. Again, like what this topic is about my mind, not about selfishness, not about parties, not about small talk. And this video is a testament to this topic. I can't stay focused. And I think it's really good. I know that this is really good for something. And I feel like it's not good for normal everyday life, but surely there's got to be something it's very useful for, like creativity or brainstorming. Oh, this is the best for brainstorming. When I brainstorm, I have to reel myself back in because my ideas get too crazy, and I have to stay realistic, and I have to keep it within a scope. Like if you're brainstorming like maybe a story or an essay, just trying to condense is the hardest part for me. It's not even coming up with the ideas. It's how do I keep this in this little box so that way my reader doesn't want to, so they aren't overwhelmed with just all this information and just too much context. That's my biggest flaw, is how do I give you less information? How do I tell it to you? I can tell you, but is your attention span going to stick with me? That's the key. And I look at my analytics of my videos, and it's already a testament of, hey, your analytics show that people have an attention span for about a minute before they're kicking off your videos because you can't stay on topic, is really what that tells me. You're not to the point. You're not, they're here for a purpose and they're not getting the purpose, and so they move on. At least that's how I think when I watch a video. This video's long enough. You get the idea. I can't stay on topic. My brain's crazy. I hope I'm not the only one. Until next time.